172nd time as a referee in a world title bout for Richard Steele. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Super Flyweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red with black, official weight 115 pounds. His professional record, 28 victories, including 26 knockouts, with only one defeat. From San Felix, Venezuela, here is the #1 ranked challenger in the world, former Super Flyweight World Champion, Alejandro El Explosivo Munoz. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out in the red corner, wearing burgundy, official weight 114.5 pounds. His professional record, 29 victories, including 16 knockouts, also with only one defeat. Damas y caballeros de Ciudad de Mexico, the reigning, defending WBA Super Flyweight Champion of the World, Martin El Gallito Castillo.
Castillo. Spoke to both fighters in the dressing room. I'm cautioning you, obey my commands at all times, shake hands and good luck.
Castillo is ranked the top fighter in his division by Ring Magazine. Perhaps his best-known victory, however, came as an amateur when he defeated Floyd Mayweather Jr.
And it's quite an accomplishment because Floyd was always a good fighter, even as an amateur.
Rose away from Castillo's corner. Surely he looks at him with a certain respect. He remembers that amateur defeat. I think he does. Round one begins. You see Castillo holds his hand in an American position below his belt. And comes up with a big left hook to the head of Munoz. Munoz still regards himself as the bigger puncher and says, this time, I am so much better prepared. I'll knock him out.
I watched the tape of the first fight, and already you can see Munoz is being much more assertive early.
Yes, he is. I agree with you. Castillo is a faster fighter and a more accurate puncher and crisper puncher, but Munoz can make up for that by his determination and pressure because he was not fighting with this intensity in the last fight.
Munoz landed a long right hand and seems to be able to target Castillo with long right hands from a distance because Castillo holds his left hand so low. They're trading shots. This is not the fight Castillo wanted, and he goes down.
And Castillo himself is wide open. He set himself in a position where he's punching without even looking at where he's punching half the time.
Castillo is the one who looks underprepared tonight as he came in and allowed himself immediately get into a free-swinging battle with a puncher.
But Munoz is still leaving himself wide open for that left hook that he got caught with early in the fight, and he still could go down himself at any time.
Well, that's exciting. Let's see it, baby. How about both these guys on the canvas?
It would not surprise me.
After we made it through that first fight of the evening, we deserve something like that.
Munoz is down twice in their first fight.
Munoz lands another right hand. And Castillo is doing nothing to stop Munoz's long lead rights. And again, he gets tagged with a lead right hand by Munoz.
Right!
Castillo seems a little stunned to be seeing a different, more energetic, more devoted fighter in front of him tonight.
And he's standing toe-to-toe more than he did in the first fight.
But both guys' defenses were still a little leaky. Anyone could go down.
Well, Castillo is already marked around the right eye. He's got an abrasion above the eye and a pink mark underneath it. And Munoz is doing most of his damage to the left eye as he lands that right hand. Now Castillo with a little left hook to the body, and it was a good one.
He's landed 7 or 8 clean right hands already.
There's a clean left hook. And Emmanuel told you that Munoz was open to the left hook.
Well, you keep throwing that right hand, you're going to be open for the left hook.
But he keeps his head up. He keeps his head up. Every time he throws his own left hook, he leaves his head wide open to get hit with a left hook.
It's
decision on this one here.
Sensational round.
So Harold can go to the restroom. Is that it? No, Harold, you can't. Great first round. That ought to wake up the crowd.
You gotta be careful with his left hand. That was a slip. That was okay. Hey, look. Straight right hand to the front. Hey, the right hand. Go to your left and throw your right hand. Come on. Nice and easy. Deep breath. You want some water?
Let's take another look at the knockdown.
Munoz is very aggressive in the front, even though he's leaving himself open. He's just so much aggressive in there. And he crowded him. He got right over top of him where he really couldn't even see the right hand.
Those are brawling right hands.
Yes, not accurate punches.
Two guys just throwing blindly at close range. CompuBox numbers in round one. Munoz came out with 81 punches. A different fighter than the guy who totally took it easy going into the first fight and wasn't really there physically. Castillo 19 out of 55. 29 of their total 35 combined connections on power shots. It could have been a 10-8 round for Munoz, who scored the knockdown of Castillo.
But I don't personally think that Castillo was really hurt seriously. Even though he was a good knockdown, I think it's a lot because he was crowded and out of bad position in the ropes. But
what hurts is he might be 2 points behind in the fight.
He's definitely too much, and I don't think the points are going to matter too much. I think if he goes to a decision, it'll be a clear-cut winner going down the stretch. Hard knockout.
Hard left hand by Munoz. Munoz moving effectively to his left, away from Castillo's effective left hook. Castillo with a hard right hand to the body. Makes great little pops upstairs. And Richard Steele says, guys, don't hit each other on the back of the head. Try to keep the punches on the front. Munoz not nearly as right-hand crazy now as he was in the first round. Probably he realizes that Castillo has now gotten the wake-up call and understands he's got a different fight on his hands.
Yeah, I think Castillo's a little bit more alert now, more accurate, and more into the fight.
And Munoz sensing that has begun to be more measured in his approach, but he gets in a left hand and almost landed the haymaker right, although it was slow.
Munoz is so slow, but he's very busy. He's still coming in, and he's fighting a much more determined fight than he fought in the first fight.
Castillo with a whole different look on his face now than was the case in round one, when he really did not seem focused at all. Keeping his eyes focused on Martin Castillo's chest. And as we finish this second round, just a few seconds ago, main event referee Kenny Bayless with instructions to Erik Morales.
Now, when you're working inside, if one hand is under the arm and the other arm is free, I'll give the command for them to punch out, work out, punch out. And I want him to understand what that means, that he is to work his way out of the clinch.
Que si te tiene amarrado uno de los brazos, tú tienes que seguir peleando y él te va a decir que sigas tirando para que tú solo, o sea, si él te tiene una mano amarrado, la otra mano tienes que estar peleando.
When there's a tight clinch and no action, I'll give the command, break, stop. At that time, I want you to protect yourself and take a clean step back.
Si están en un clinch y no están tirando golpes, él va a decir break, o sea, que se separen y te espera que tú tomes un paso atrás y siempre protegiéndote todo el tiempo, que te protejas todo el tiempo al salir.
Are there any questions?
¿Alguna pregunta?
Good luck to you. Good luck.
The poker face here at Morales has never spoken English in public, although it's our judgment, Larry, from all our meetings with him, that he understands most, if not all, of what we say.
And he speaks quite a bit, too, when we're in the fight.
In private.
Yeah, he speaks very good.
Not in public.
Many fighters feel that way. They want to be perfectly understood when they speak, and so they want to speak their native tongue.
Munoz says the Chavez is Munoz. When we were together training, I was training him, he spoke English all the time with me, but on TV, he would very seldom speak.
Felix Trinidad, yet another. Now young Miguel Cotto is pressing hard and working forward toward trying to transition to speaking English in public, and although he may not be quite there yet, he makes progress from fight to fight. That's part of what makes Cotto so professional and so intriguing for the sport. Round 3 between Martin Castillo and Alexander Munoz. If you've just tuned in, this is a rematch of a one-sided fight won by Castillo 14 months ago, but in the first round, a newly rejuvenated Munoz knocked Castillo down with a right hand.
Much more determined, too.
Munoz contended yesterday that even though he trained only 3 days, as he said, for the first fight, he expected to win it. Only punchers are that arrogant, Manny.
But you know, with this fight right here, he's having a very good fight. I don't think he's as skilled, but a very, very determined fighter this time. And he's causing a lot of problems to Castillo, even though Castillo has a better skill.
He's clearly taken Castillo by surprise by showing up focused and engaged.
He has a watch getting hit with that left hook. Other than that, he's okay.
He's having a very good round here as Munoz is pressuring Castillo. Now Castillo sent back.
A similar situation, the right hand that landed on the side of the head when his balance was made, much like Castillo. Only Castillo was in the ropes.
And now Munoz turns to Richard Steele and claims him getting hit on the back of the head. Steele didn't see it or didn't agree and said, keep going.
Castillo came right back with the left hand after his right hand missed, and Munoz was surprised by it. Maybe he felt it in the back of his head, but it seemed to land in the front.
Right hand by Munoz, straight shot. And another great right hand as Castillo walked right into it. Munoz looked as though he almost wanted to take a knee there. They're trading down the stretch. Meanwhile, Kenny Bayless's free fight instructions moments ago to Manny Pacquiao.
When you're working inside, if your hand goes underneath and the other hand is free, I'll give you the command to punch out, work out, punch out, and you work your way out of the clinch. If there's a hard clinch and there's no action, I'll give the command, break, stop. At that time, I want you to protect yourself and take a clear step back. Okay? Any questions?
No, if last round is no savable except the last round also included a no savable.
Can you be saved by the
Saved by
bell
the
in the
bell.
last
No,
round?
You cannot be saved by the bell in the last round. You can't. Okay? Any more questions?
No, thank you.
Chief Seconds,
Behind you.
any questions?
No,
Freddie?
sir. Everything's good.
All right.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Same story, hasn't really spoken much English in public. Clearly is confident in his feeling that he can understand it. That's Manny Pacquiao, the pride of the Philippines. Harold, how do you have it through 3 here?
Okay, so this is a very interesting fight. 2 rounds to 1, 29-27, Alexander Munoz. Jim, you gotta give him an extra point for knocking out Castillo in round 1. Round 2, I thought Castillo came back and bounced nicely. But round 3, when they went toe-to-toe, head-to-head, I thought Munoz landed the hardest shots with that right hand. 2-1, Munoz.
Good straight right hand in there by Castillo. Munoz really seemed to sort of take the second round off as he threw only 39 punches in that round after having thrown 81 in the first round. And his energy level came back up in the third round.
Well, Munoz lands his right hand a lot because Castillo gets right in front of him, goes into a semi-squat position, right there to get hit with those right hands. And he's getting hit with right hands with a club in right hands, but they're effective because he sits right in front of him.
And even though Castillo has brought his left hand up since the first round when he was holding it below his waist, he still drops it from time to time. You see him do it right there.
Right there, and he squats.
And when he drops his hands, Munoz is more than happy to hit him. His hands are faster than Castillo thinks they are.
Yes, he looks a little slower and maybe not as crisp and as impressive, but he's a very effective fighter in his own strange way.
Munoz again the aggressor, tries Castillo back. Castillo with a brilliant right hand counter shot that hurt Munoz. Castillo wonders how much he hurt him. Tries a body shot and another couple of left hooks to the body. Now Munoz comes back with a big counter right hand upstairs. And a left. Both fighters are thinking tactically in there. Castillo saying, okay, I'll go to the body and lower his hands. And then Munoz says to himself, all right, if he wants to throw downstairs, I'll counter upstairs.
It's a very good fighter. I didn't expect Munoz to look this good after looking at the tapes of his last fight.
No, it's a pleasant surprise.
Yes. He's fairly decent defense in his own way, too.
Well, he's got good movement upstairs.
Yes.
And now it may be a repeating movement, and Castillo's trying to read that and time him. But the bottom line is, Munoz does move his head from side to side and rolls his shoulders from time to time.
Keep him in front.
Not only that, but I've never seen another fighter wear orange boxing trunks.
His outfit is nowhere near as pretty as Castillo, but he's a solid fighter.
George Foreman wore orange boxing trunks the night that he fought Muhammad Ali in Zaire in the Rumble in the Jungle.
Showed him what happened.
You sure it was orange?
I don't
think it was orange. I think it was the
think it was
same trunks that he usually knocked out Michael Moore, I think.
You know, they were the same trunks, but were they red or were they
They
orange?
were red. It was all American colors, red, white, and blue.
All right. Okay, I'll back off of the orange on that one. Maybe they were faded toward
Well,
orange.
faded, yeah, it was faded films.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let's get some water. You gotta work in. It's a counter puncher. Counter puncher. Don't forget. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hey, your movements. Okay, feint him. Okay, take the deep breath. Feint him and throw the left hook. Feint and the left hook. One more.
Fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. We go to the fifth. Martin Castillo winning the last round on Harold Letterman's card. That was fairly clear. Castillo at one point hurt Munoz with a right hand in that round. Munoz slowing down a little bit now as we get to the middle portion of the fight.
Yes.
Now as he slows down, Castillo will get a better look.
Castillo's looking sharper and crisper, a lot of speed still. Seems to be just getting into his groove. But Munoz is the type of guy you can never relax with because he's a real fighter inside. And he's going to throw punches back at you, so you better be prepared all the time.
It sounded as though Munoz's trainer, Manny Ramos, is trying to encourage his fighter to get into a counter-punching war with Castillo to try to trade counter-punch for counter-punch. I'm not sure it's the right strategy.
No, he's not. Munoz is not a counter-puncher.
Exactly. And Castillo appears to be a counter-puncher by mentality. Good left hook to the body by Castillo. Munoz just missing with two return fire shots upstairs. Castillo jabbing to the body while looking upstairs. Munoz, in this round, throwing only one punch at a time. And there's a right-left combination by Castillo. Digging the left hook to the body.
Right. Watch your head, watch your head.
Looking for a reason why Munoz would be slowing down in the middle rounds.
Time.
First, it could be fatigue, but that left hook to the body could also be a factor.
There's a cut over the right eye
Excellent headbutt.
of Castillo from that headbutt.
Mark Ratner, the Data State Athletic Commission, holding up a card for everyone at ringside that says accidental headbutt. There's the blood flowing down the right side of Martin Castillo's face. That cut is just below the eyebrow and above the eyelid. It's a vulnerable spot.
His cut man is Miguel Diaz.
He's great.
He's one of the best in the business, and he's going to earn his pay tonight. You got to keep a champion going.
Castillo lands a left hook upstairs, switches southpaw momentarily, switches back to the other side. Look out, if he switches southpaw, he's putting that damaged right eye in front.
Once again, that right hand where Castillo just sits there and squats and leaves himself in position, and Munoz is landing those right hands on him still.
But now with Castillo bleeding from a spot above the right eye, Munoz momentarily looks to throw more left hands. Big right hand by Castillo, perfect shot. And the left hook to the body momentarily wobbles Munoz, who moves away.
Munoz has suddenly become the counterpuncher in this equation.
Castillo fighting bravely ever since the blood began to flow.
Time.
Quick replay of the headbutt.
Here you can see that was definitely the accidental headbutt, if there ever was one. It happens.
Castillo with a look on that face that said, uh-oh.
But it seems to have given new energy to Munoz, I noticed, during that round. He picked up his pace, and then Castillo came back at the end himself.
Yeah, Munoz picked up his energy. I just don't think he landed. Let's listen to the corners.
Okay. You got the best corner man in the business, so there's nothing worry. Come on, watch the mouthpiece. When you push him back, you got him. The right hand is gonna do it. When you push him back, but throw punches.
Watch your head.
Can the corner tell him the truth about that cut?
It's a bad cut. It's a bad cut.
It's in a bad spot.
It's a bad spot right there. But, you know, you don't want to get the fighter where he can't see it, and usually when they actually see it after the fight, they're like shocked at how big it is.
And given that the opponent is a pretty good puncher, who thinks of himself as a puncher, you probably don't want to tell Castillo, okay, go in there and shorten the fight, go for a knockout, he'd be playing into the other guy's hands.
Munoz is the type of guy that you cannot take lightly. He's a very determined kid.
Tonight, at least. So Castillo, it appears, will be trying to make it through 7 rounds of action with a damaging cut in a vulnerable spot between the eyebrow and the eyelid on the right side.
As we saw in the fight, this last fight between Pacquiao and Morales, which was a tight fight up until that point, when Pacquiao suffered that bad cut, it seemed like it changed the whole course of the fight.
In the same round, Emmanuel.
4th round.
5th round.
5th round. That cut was actually to the side of Manny's right eye. Not in exactly the same position as Castillo's cut, but it did, according to Pacquiao, significantly affect him in the fight.
Right.
And now Castillo leading on the other side as we've had another headbutt.
But that looks below the eye.
It is.
Accidental butt.
It's below the eye, and it's another accidental butt. And now he's bleeding on both sides of his face. This one, not as dangerous because, as Larry points out, below the eye, not above it.
Time.
Not going to compromise his vision. Miguel Diaz has got a lot of work to do in Martin Castillo's career.
And it's going to stimulate, I think, both fighters. Munoz is going to get more energy from that, and I think Castillo is going to get more desperate also to try to end the fight.
Little left hook in there by Castillo. Castillo able to back Munoz off as they trade punches. Munoz just missing the cut right eye with a left hook. Now he strafes Castillo with a good right cross.
Castillo has become urgency of the moment.
Break! Break!
Or maybe he thinks he can take the starch out of Munoz by simply fighting his way through it. Hard right hand by Munoz. This is the second one he's landed. Castillo looping a right hand over the top. And now Castillo chases Munoz and looks for a chance to pin him against the ropes.
Break!
Alexander Munoz of Venezuela in the orange trunks. Martin Castillo, originally from Mexico, fighting out of Los Angeles. In the ring. Another right hand by Munoz. He's landed it frequently in this round, and it had gone away for a few rounds. Martin Castillo with a world of trouble on his hands. He went down in the first round against Alexander Munoz, and now he's cut. Over the right eye and under the left eye. Quick look at this headbutt. Boom.
Another accidental headbutt.
No intention whatsoever, and Castillo says to Richard Steele, cut again.
It's still rough to go through a long fight like this with deep cuts on both sides of the face, even though they're in different locations. There's still deep enough cuts where it can be troublesome.
I don't see an end swell, Manny. Why would that be?
I guess at this stage, when it's not more of a swelling problem, it's just he's trying to get the blood to coagulate right now. And I'm just trying to see what he's using. But anyway, it could be Avatine or whatever. But evidently he's doing a good job of getting the blood.
A variety of solutions are available for the man to use.
It usually takes around 2 rounds for the coagulants to really be effective.
We'll see what Miguel Diaz can do as we go to the 7th of schedule 12. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Look at you, 57, 56. Alexander Munoz, 3 rounds each, but Alexander Munoz is ahead at 1 point because of that knockdown around 1. Now, about the cuts, the rule is this. If the cuts become worse from clean legal blows, clean effective blows, leave the cut, and the fight gets stopped, you go to the scorecards. Whoever's ahead on the scorecards wins the fight.
If there were more accidental butts, Harold, could Munoz be disqualified for them?
No, an accident is an accident, Jim. He could be disqualified on an intentional headbutt, but not on an accident.
And not on the first intentional one either, right?
I mean, it would have to be intentional for the guy to get disqualified. He couldn't get disqualified because of accidental headbutts.
We've got 6 rounds to go in this fight between Martin Castillo and Alexander Munoz. They are fighting for a 115-pound world title belt. You heard Larry tell you that Ring Magazine lists Castillo as the #1 fighter in this division. He's in trouble. While it would be one of the least known significant trilogies in the recent history of the sport, it would certainly appear logical that if Munoz wins this fight, they're going to fight each other again.
It could be, and I'm very impressed, believe it or not, with Munoz, because I've never thought that he was that much of a fighter on television, but he seems to be very determined, very focused, and he's presenting a problem, not just because of the right hands that he's landing, but he himself has got a pretty good defense himself.
Now he's Castillo pinned against the ropes, and he lands another one of those straight right hands that have given Castillo trouble.
Jim, I thought that one of those punches landed solidly.
Yes. Castillo rolled most of those punches. He didn't get it that solid. That was the right hand there.
There's a left and a right by Castillo in return.
Break!
Both guys have landed some leather in this round. Neither of the two fighters has ever lost a knockout. Alexander Munoz has never won a decision.
Great right hand by Castillo.
Actually, let me take that back. Alexander Munoz has won 1 decision. He won a decision in the eliminator fight that got him to this fight.
There you see Jose Luis Lopez Sr., father of a fighter who was named Junior, and the new trainer in his first fight with Erik Morales. But according to both the trainer and the fighter, they were there basically to help him get in condition, into the peak condition he appears to be in. Erik Morales seems to train himself in terms of tactics and make his own decisions in the ring on how to fight an opponent.
In addition to seemingly wrapping his own hands.
Well, Manny, he's 29 years old, and you point out his father trained him from the moment he started fighting at age 5 until after his last fight, the loss to Tahir Rahim. He's never listened to anybody else in the corner other than his father and his father's chief seconds. He has a whole new corner tonight. Could that be a big difference for Erik Morales?
It could be, but as strange as it is, normally I would say it would be a big difference. I just don't really think so. Erik Morales is a kind of an independent type guy. I don't think he listens too much to anyone. And he's known in our boxing circles from conversations I had with other fighters, they included, kind of arrogant and kind of wrapped up to himself, but nevertheless, he still is a very good fighter.
Indeed, many great fighters are by nature stubborn and arrogant. It's part of what makes them winners. Few are more outwardly stubborn and arrogant than Erik Morales, who simply makes no secret about it. Some say, well, okay, he's never listened to anybody but his father. Others say, hey, he hadn't listened to his father in 5 years. What's the difference?
And you know, I was impressed when reading a lot of things in the paper recently where his father's criticized him about his training and other things. He took it very nice. He says, hey, you know, I don't pay attention. I still my father and I love him, and that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, well,
very professional.
In a world of hurt, nothing could hurt a fighter more than have to separate himself from the father who raised him and trained him to get to where Morales is right now.
But he said his father's having a lot of serious health problems. The guy just had a serious operation, and he was contemplating making that decision anyway prior to the last fight. And his father, he says, physically is not really in the best shape to be able to train a camp with him. But it may motivate him. I think it's going to motivate him based on what his father said to prove something.
Good round for us to be talking about all of this stuff because nothing much has happened significant in the first half of the 8th round between Alexander Munoz and Martin Castillo. Both fighters appear to be tiring just a little bit as we get into the second half of the fight.
It seemed to me that Munoz was trying to figure out how to take advantage of the cuts and wasn't doing anything to do so. And finally he's figured out he better just go back to fighting and not think about the cuts, which have not caused any problems for Castillo in the last couple of rounds.
Have you ever had the occasion, Manuel, when you're training a fighter and you say to him, forget that your opponent is cut and quit focusing on that?
That's true. That's in this case right here because the cuts seem to be, particularly the right eye, which is the worst. Evidently Miguel has did a good job of getting that to stop. And you know, but I think eventually Munoz is going to get into that same state of mind. He's going to forget about the cuts, but the cuts motivated him for a moment, I think.
They seem to motivate Munoz. They may have prompted Castillo to fight smarter. He's had to continue getting smarter ever since the first round when he did not fight smart. In fact, he was dumb as a post. And there's a hard right hand by Munoz, and Castillo's badly hurt. Castillo was wobbled, his knees buckled from the right hand. If he can make it reverse, he'll show some resiliency, and he does.
Castillo was winning that round clearly up until the last few seconds. That might have cost him the round.
Hey, you gotta move side to side. Don't go back straight. The right hand and to the side. One punch, that was all that did it. You let him hit you with the right hand. You gotta go in, move your waist.
There's the shot.
Great right hand.
Castillo thinks that he has Munoz in a vulnerable position against the ropes.
Yes.
And as he goes at him, Munoz hits him with that shot. He actually didn't get much of his weight behind it, and if he had, he might have knocked him down.
And that was what's interesting. He shot a little short right hand, and that's what Castillo was shooting. But Castillo was shooting his right hand from a long distance, and Munoz took advantage of that shooting a little short right hand and beat him to the punch.
Suddenly, is swollen, almost closed. But I didn't see that coming. It appears to have happened within the last half round.
And there could be more damage than both of the cuts that we've seen Castillo, because it's actually obstructing his vision. He's going to probably be fighting from one eye only, just his left eye.
And now it looks as though Munoz, going blind in the right eye, is going to unload his kitchen and see if he's got a weapon in there that'll knock Castillo out.
And he's giving Castillo more energy now.
So again, the fight goes up a level in energy. Munoz's right eye looks almost as though he got strafed with the laces of Castillo's glove.
And it just like it happened just
Instantaneously.
instantaneous. I never even saw it. All of a sudden, it wasn't the beginning as well as I could just close shut completely.
There was no indication between rounds as to what had happened. And that eye's almost closed. And you can see that Castillo looks much more confident now as he faces off against the seemingly half-blind Alexander Munoz. But as we pointed out, Munoz appeared to win the last round with a huge right hand in the closing seconds. So he may still have the edge on the scorecards.
Munoz also has a lump in the left of his left eye.
Surely not as bothersome as the closed right eye.
Close right eye is very serious.
Now let's see if Castillo is transfixed with Munoz's right eye. Doesn't seem to be, and now they bang heads again. Neither fighter happy with the headbutts.
Sometimes it's the style of certain fighters.
Left hook by Munoz. Caught Castillo flush. Good right hand by Castillo. Caught Munoz flush. Oh, Castillo hammers Munoz's closed right eye with a perfect left hook. Left hook to the body by Castillo. Perfect uppercut by Munoz. Munoz catching Castillo with the left. Great action. In the ninth round, crowd rises to the occasion too. They're trading shots at close range.
Did Pacquaio and Morales start when I wasn't looking?
If it's this good, we'll be happy. Big left hook inside by Castillo, banging against the closed right eye of Alexander Munoz. Munoz lands a right uppercut. Half hook, half uppercut.
He's just throwing whatever comes into his mind.
Improvising as he goes.
Yeah, he's a very determined fighter.
Keep him up.
Two fighters were virtually even in power shots through the 8th round, and they're throwing nothing but power shots here. What a wild 9th round between two damaged fighters. Let's go down to Manny Pacquiao's dressing room one more time, and Emmanuel Stewart mentioned earlier the entourage which surrounds Pacquiao, the number of people who tend to accompany him all the time. It gives a fighter energy and support. It creates pressure and responsibility too.
Hotel for the last 3 days was just completely saturated with people from the Philippines everywhere. So I know he's a big, big hero in this country.
The Philippines come to a stop when Manny Pacquiao fights. He makes a record album. It instantly sells 500,000 copies. He makes a movie. It packs theaters in Manila. He can do no wrong.
Very exciting fighter too.
Plenty of Miguel Diaz grease all over Martin Castillo's face. If I'm in the opposing corner, I'm asking Richard Steele to make him take some of that grease off, Emmanuel.
But I'm quite sure he's going to ask that, well, in this case, a lot of times you have to take the grease off the body because it's really not grease. It's a special, that Vaseline is a lot of times it's been boiled with certain coagulants that's in it, so it's not just regular Vaseline.
Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim. 86, 84, 5 rounds to 4. Alexander Munoz. Jim, I thought Alexander Munoz actually pulled out the last 2 rounds with some vicious right hands. Castillo had a technician, but Munoz, when he lands that big right hand, just like he did now, wins rounds. And Munoz gets an extra point in round 1 for the knockout. 5-4, goes.
Both fighters get an A for determination now. Although Castillo got an F in the first round and has reversed it totally since then. In the 9th round of their 32 total connected punches, 28 of them were power shots. They were bringing and ringing.
use alibis, rationales to why something went wrong. And usually they're just talking about their own wishes and desires. But maybe Munoz is telling the truth when he said he only trained for 3 days.
I believe it. For the first fight, not for this fight. This is a whole different story.
But if Harold's scorecard reflects the thinking around the ring with the judges, Castillo would have to win the next 3 rounds, the last 3 rounds, to retain his title.
Castillo has a record of 29-1, 16 knockouts. Munoz is 28-1, 26 knockouts. Somebody's likely to get his second loss here tonight, unless this ends up being a tumultuous draw.
It could end up being a draw.
Not out of the question. Not really an easy fight to score either.
Castillo looks better, punches more crisper, but still, with the supreme effectiveness, Munoz is right there leading him.
Good right hand by Castillo.
Munoz got hit flush with an opening right hand. He didn't expect the punch, and that may have been enough to win the round for Castillo.
Last at bats.
Let's take another look at an upcoming pay-per-view show here on HBO.
Take some air in. We gotta keep punishing him. Pummel him. Deep breath.
Martin Castillo commits the man tonight. He'll be handsome in an offbeat way with bruises and cuts all over his face. Total comedy box numbers through the 10th round. Castillo 129 out of 544, 24%. Munoz 106 out of 501. 21%. Castillo with a 39-14 edge in jab connect, meaning neither fighter has used the jab very much. Power punching fight. The only knockdown of the fight was scored by Munoz in the first round. Castillo would love to get a knockdown somewhere in these last 2 rounds to even that part of the scorecards up.
Jim, I was looking at the same thing you just pointed out. There's not too much jabbing going on. If someone probably would start boxing, it would probably be like cheating. It would win the fight very easy and clearly, but everyone is power punchers. No jabs all at all.
Here's an strange thing. Munoz's right eye now seems to be open more than it was a couple of rounds ago.
I noticed that. I cannot figure that out.
Still partially closed, though.
Just as strange as how it goes up, sitting on his arm, seemed like it's open and back up slowly when he saw it.
Hard to get their men through the fight. Castillo getting them up in a hurry and getting them back into the ring against each other. Not a knockdown for either man. Look at the determination of Alexander Munoz, who more or less gave the first fight away by not training for it, allowing Castillo to dominate him completely and knock him down twice. This has been an entirely different story. Right hand by Munoz. Most of his punches now are arm punches, without the kind of power they showed in the first round.
Very tough man to fight.
Punching out. Break. Break.
Tapping right hand lands for Castillo.
This is the last round. Last round now. Okay, don't slug it out with him. Just box, move around.
You can see here both guys landed punches. Maybe the difference is sometimes Munoz has a little bit worse balance often, so it may have appeared as if he got hurt more, but it seemed like the same effect.
Munoz. And from the mouth. He's bleeding from the nostrils and the mouth. The damage Castillo's done in the last round or two. Hard right hand over the top by Castillo. Munoz's blood dripping all over Castillo's back. Again, Castillo with a sharp right hand. Now Munoz lands one. Maybe you're right. It's hard to call sometimes when they get in close and trade. Incidentally, judges face that problem too. Right hand by Castillo. Munoz winging inside with both hands. Finally throws Castillo to the ropes. And Martin Castillo running to the middle of the ring to say, let me get back at him, and both guys hold their hands up. At the end of 12, very hard-fought rounds.
Castillo had to rally. He appeared to rally. Was it too little too late or enough too late?
Sometimes judges score the blood against the bloody fighter. Sometimes judges score for the bloody fighter when he shows the spirit and the courage to come back.
Very interesting because both guys are bloody at the end of this fight here.
Harold Letterman's card shows Martin Castillo roaring down the stretch, winning 4 of the last 6 rounds to claim the fight. And let's take a look at highlights of this tumultuous up and down battle for a title at 115 pounds. Round 1, an energetic Alexander Munoz caught Martin Castillo, had him on the defensive and knocked him down with a right hand in the corner. Round 5, the first of 2 brutal accidental headbutts. This one opened a big hole on the right eye of Martin Castillo. Round 6, the second accidental headbutt opened a cut under the left eye of Martin Castillo. By round 9, the right eye of Alexander Munoz was closed, and they were trading shots at close range. Here's the kind of action that we saw in the 9th round. And in the 11th, rounds, unofficial scorecard, Martin Castillo was by far the more energetic and effective fighter. Let's go to Michael Buffer to see if Alexander Munoz managed to wrest a 115-pound title from the clutches of Martin Castillo.
By way of Win Las Vegas, we go to the scorecards. Dalby Shirley scores the bout 115 to 112 for Munoz. Glenn Feldman scores it 115 to 112 for Castillo. Dick Hout scores it 116 to 111 for the winner by split decision, and still champion Martin Castillo.
So there you have it. A champion holds on to his belt with poise, courage, determination, and resiliency down the stretch against a spirited, determined effort by the challenger and Alexander Munoz. Both guys distinguished themselves in a terrific fight. Copy box totals, Castillo landing 154 out of 653. The connect percentages kind of belie the notion that it was a terrific fight. Maybe technically it wasn't a terrific fight, but in terms of effort and initiative and commitment on the part of the two fighters, it certainly was that. And we'll look at power shots, where the early edge certainly belonged to Munoz, but where by the end, Castillo landed 2 more, threw 5 more. You don't see many fights more even than that on the power shot statistical category.
In there. Just spit it right in there. Don't worry about it. Drop your hands, be sharp, change your angle. Give him that, hey, come on. And snap your punch.
So you saw the time.